Hey everyone, it is Stephanie here with Infernal TV, and I'm here with Rob Barrett of Cannibal Corpse. So how are you?
Stephanie, hello again, my friend. Good to talk to you again. It's been a while.
I know, just Rob and I were, just chatting before the interview, and yep, we're just saying no shows, and Tampa, that's especially, pretty catastrophic, because there's always some great shows in Tampa.
Yeah, there's up to 3-4 shows a week. So
I
yeah,
know.
it's definitely. I feel like I'm sitting on the sideline. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play.
Well, can't wait for the day that Cannibal Corpse can go on stage, because you guys are one of my favorite bands live, and I'm not just saying that because I'm talking to you. Like, I truly love watching Cannibal Corpse shows.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
All right. Well, let's talk. Oh, go on.
No, I was going to say our last show that we played was the day before Thanksgiving, like the year before last.
Oh, I remember. I was at that show. Actually, I saw you guys twice on that tour, once in Montreal and in Tampa.
Oh, yeah, wow, cool. Yeah, the Montreal show kicked ass, too.
There were a ton of people there. I remember that venue was filled. I think that was, Metropolis in downtown Montreal?
Yeah, we always have a good following up there in Montreal and Toronto. Well, just Canada in general.
Nice, that's awesome. Well, let's go and talk about the new song, Inhumane Harvest. And now, I guess to the people listening, I told this to Rob when we were talking before the interview, but I definitely think it's one of the, strongest songs that Cannibal Corpse has put out. So overall, what do you think, about the new song and the reception that you've had so far?
Oh, well, thanks for the compliment about the song. Yeah, it's just like, I feel like we're kind of opening a new chapter for Cannibal Corpse with the addition of Erik Rutan, obviously. Like, we have a new element there, which is present, and yeah, I think we're just really focused on writing catchy songs that are memorable, so, I think mission accomplished with Inhumane Harvest. I wrote the music and lyrics to that one, and it's pretty much about like this whole shady underground organ trade that's going on, where people are getting abducted and disappearing, and organs are being sold on the black market to people who have the money for a transplant, that really need one. So it's just like a shady storyline, but I think it's really happening around us. So.
Oh yeah, super brutal stuff, and yep, no, I'm sure there's some scarier stuff that happens in life, scary stuff like that.
Yeah, we're always trying to figure out, all those things so then we can write songs about them.
Alrighty, so now, does the rest of the album follow Inhumane Harvest? Kind of like that's, like you mentioned, the catchy, like it's a brutal song, but it's catchy. Does the rest of the album kind of follow that, or does that song stand out?
Well, I'd like to say that all the songs sound unique in their own way, we have 3 guys writing music and 4 guys writing lyrics, so that makes for some variety overall in the sound of all the songs as a collection on a record, I would like to think. So, yeah, I think Inhumane Harvest is maybe one of the catchiest songs out of the bunch, but there's still plenty more catchy stuff coming up for everybody to hear, for sure.
Now, you said something very interesting that, the writing was a collaborative effort. Like, just about everybody was writing lyrics, writing the music. Has all Cannibal Corpse albums been a collaborative effort, or does this one stand out in that way?
Well, through the history of the band, before I was in the band, I know they were all writing songs together as a band, one of the guys guys would say, all right, I have this riff, and then one of the other guys will say, I have this one, and then, so on and so forth, build the song like that. And then when I joined the band in '93, then we started writing for the Bleeding album, and it was pretty much the same that way, like we were all just pitching in riffs together on a lot of the songs. But at that point, that's where Alex started writing complete songs on his own. And, after a while from that album on, it started turning into like everybody was just writing their own complete songs individually. So that's where we're at this point, like none of us are actually writing songs together music-wise. Like I'm writing my songs on my own with Paul, in the practice room. And then Erik's writing his songs on his own at home, and then he just records like a demo of it and then sends it to everybody. And same with Alex, he'll write complete songs on his own and then send them to everybody. So it's not actually like we're collaborating together on anything. We're just writing stuff individually, but it definitely makes for a variety of sounds, though, when we're all individually writing complete songs.
Nice. And now I do want to mention Erik Rutan about now, the announcement he's in the band full time, because I remember when he was first filling in, it was, kind of an uncertainty, like if he would be full time or not. But what brought you to the decision to have him be a permanent member? Is the writing process with him good? Do you all get along? I guess what made Erik Rutan the best candidate in Cannibal Corpse?
Well, we've all known him since, I think I met him in 1989 when I was 19. He was in Riffing Corpse, and so we've all known him that long, and so we've just all been really good friends with him for a very long time since then. And over the years, we've toured with him, done shows with him, and then started doing records with him producing. He did 4 albums. He produced 4 Cannibal records before this 5th one that he just did. So, even before he ended up joining the band, I was always saying that to me, he felt like the 6th member of the band, just the vibe that we have in the studio working together, and, just the whole positive attitude that he has. He's so professional, he's a hard worker, and he's also a death metal guitarist and vocalist, like he sings and plays guitar, death metal. So it's just like, we get along so well, it's a perfect fit. We weren't planning on having him join right away after the whole incident happened with Pat. We were actually just he was just a temporary live fill-in. But then, later as time went on, after several tours, just some things came up with the whole situation to where we just decided to move forward with Erik. And it's working out great. His contributions are definitely noticeable when people hear the songs that he wrote. I think, like, you can tell it's Erik Rutan, and at first I was kind of a little apprehensive as to how his songwriting was going to fit in with us. I was thinking, is he going to write stuff that sounds like Haiti Colonel? And then when he started sending us the songs, I was like, that sounds like Cannibal Corpse. It just sounds like Erik Rutan wrote it. So he has his own identity with his songwriting, and it's fitting into the sound of Cannibal Corpse great.
Nice. And And I guess going back through all of Cannibal Corpse's discography, I mean, you have always had great songs. Like you mentioned, the catchiness, technicality where it's supposed to be. It's not, crazy noodly, all the time. And I mean, what is the secret? What is the secret to just writing a good, solid death metal song?
Well, I mean, for me at least, I'm to the point where I'd have to say, back when I was younger, it was kind of like this mentality, like, all right, well, I need to prove myself. I'm going to show everybody how good I could play, and that's how a lot of the crazy technical stuff started coming about. Just because we don't like playing stuff that's easy to play, we want to challenge ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But now, and at this point in my life, I'm kind of more like getting more basic with my riff writing. I feel like I'm getting to this point where I don't really need to challenge myself anymore. I just want to write catchy songs and still make it heavy. Mm-hmm. So I guess I'm maturing in a way, Stephanie.
Yeah, that's interesting because, we always talk about, like, Judas Priest and, a lot of the classic bands. So, I definitely can hear that, you just go down to, like, the meat and potatoes type of songwriting. And I think it works for Cannibal Corpse.
Well, yeah, so far I'm just really happy with, at least what everybody came up with on this album is definitely a proud moment for all of us, I think. Like, we feel like we wrote a good, strong batch of songs here. Mm-hmm. And, like you just said, like the whole Judas Priest element, that's one of my favorite bands. You know that just from us hanging out with each other. I'm always playing Judas Priest. So, yeah, that definitely makes sense what you said. I'm just kind of like going for the meat and potatoes, and I think we have enough songs in our back catalog that are, plenty of technicality going on there. I just want to write some catchy songs that people could remember.
Nice. And you did mention something in the in your last response about maturing, and before I went when I was preparing for this interview, I was going back through Cannibal Corpse's discography, and I realized that I don't think there is a bad Cannibal Corpse album. I think every single album that you've ever had is solid. And do you think maybe that's the reason that you had, I guess, a vision, an idea in the beginning? But then as, you grow as musicians, that you all mature and, you use different influences, whether it's extreme metal, whether it's Judas Priest, whether it's something else that you can use to kind of add to Cannibal Corpse's sound? Or do you think there's another reason why just about every album has been really strong?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many ways to answer that question, but I would think, like, for the most part, we all have our own individual influences that, like, influence each of us personally in the way that we write what we write. But I think we're just really conscious of making sure that everything that we do right is, acceptable under the sound of Cannibal Corpse's standards, if that makes sense. I mean, like all of us write stuff, we'll come up with riffs sometimes that I know automatically that, oh, well, I can't use this with Cannibal Corpse. It just doesn't have the right sound for the band. So I'll just not use it in the band. But, I mean, that's why people have side projects or, just write different songs under a different name or whatever.
Right.
So I think we've just done well with being able to make sure that everything just sounds like the way that we want the band to sound. And I think we've just been persistent. It's been persistent sound-wise, at least the style.
Oh, I I most definitely agree with that. All right, and now, and I guess once again to the people listening, that another conversation that Rob and I had before the interview was, I guess, talking about touring, because it's unfortunate that you're all going to release this badass album, and fortunately we have to wait a little while before we hear this material live. And I know it's unpredictable to say, what plans you have for the rest of the year, but do you have any ideas, like, when the next Cannibal Corpse show will be, or, maybe even something else you're planning on doing this year?
Yeah, I wish I could say our next show was next week, but that's not going to happen.
Unfortunately.
We're just waiting to find out when we're going to be able to tour again. Our booking agent's not able to book anything. Nobody's booking any shows right now yet. We're not allowed to.
Yeah.
We're not essential workers.
Unfortunately. I mean, I think us death metal fans think Cannibal Corpse is essential, but...
Yeah, well, I definitely feel like our fans are essential, and we can't wait to get back out there because we've just been sitting around waiting to play these new songs.
All right. Well, this is the last question. You can say anything you want to the fans. You can promote the album. You can say thanks. Just take it away.
Well, yeah, thanks everybody for supporting the band. Thanks for listening to Stephanie's show here. And thanks for the interview, Stephanie.
Of course.
And we have our new record coming out April 16th. And hopefully we'll be able to play some live shows for everybody out there sometime soon as possible.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for checking out this interview. The new Cannibal Corpse album, it's coming out in April, right? I forgot to write that down in my notes.
April 16th.
April 16th, be on the lookout for the new Cannibal Corpse album. The single Inhumane Harvest is out, and I definitely suggest you listen to it if you haven't. And unfortunately, it's unpredictable when touring and shows will come back, but I'm sure Cannibal Corpse will be one of the very first bands that are going to come out there, and I know... judging by what Rob's saying, they're all very eager to play, so definitely come out and support these guys when touring comes back because they deserve it. And thank you again for listening. Stay metal, everyone.